Hello, I'm your host Jim McLean. Welcome back to another episode of the Banterflix movie review show here on NVTV. Let's see what movies we'll be talking about tonight. We'll be reviewing Paul Thomas Anderson's One Battle After Another, which is out in cinemas now. Our pick of the streams is VHS Halloween on Shudder. And we'll wrap up with our DVD of the week, the live-action remake of How to Train Your Dragon. So that's what we've lined up for you this week. Thanks very much to Joe McElroy for stepping in last week when I was away. I was away with my mummy. But back now in the seat with my desk. It's spooky season, so we've got a few horror movies to talk about this week. And we'll also be very briefly mentioning our own film festival, which the trailer for that has dropped. More on that in just a moment, but more terrifying than anything else, let me introduce my two guests, the lovely Adam Neeson.
Hi, Jim.
And Dr. Nicole Hamilton.
Hello.
Hello to you both, guys. Spooky season. Are you in the mood? It's October, not long to Halloween now. Adam, are you excited?
Jim, when you live my sort of life, it's spooky season 24/7, 365, baby.
You keep it real. Spooky season every day. Nicole, you love horror. So, you know, forget Christmas. Everyone's getting excited about Christmas now. Halloween's where it's at.
We do not talk about Christmas until Halloween's well and truly over and done with, which is middle of November for me. Yeah. It's as with Adam, it's spooky season every day for me too.
Horror fans, we got you. And on that note, let's move on to a bit of movie news.
From none of your business.
A curse.
Like a real curse?
Like someone cursed the shit out of you.
What? L'aventure. Une cascade.
We just got home, and you would not believe it.
He can't be replaced.
You got us to the World Cup.
You're unmanageable.
No, it's you that can't manage. That's the problem.
Okay, so that's a look at the trailer for the Belfast Film Festival. One of the trailers for one of the festivals that dropped earlier this week. Of course, there is the Belfast International Horror Festival. Check it out, kids, online. Loads of stuff. Shauna MacDonald is going to be there. Well, going to be here. She's going to be here in Belfast later this month. We'll not be too shameless in plugging our own festival. Check it out on the website. But Belfast Film Festival has launched. It is celebrating its 25th year, so a lot of film festival memories, I'm sure, are going to be brought back up. But I guess we should talk about some of the movies running from the 30th of October into November. Adam, what has caught your attention within this year's programme?
I think definitely Die My Love is up there, and as a festival opener, it's fantastic. Lynn Ramsey is one of my favourites. It's every time she comes out with a movie, I'm like, oh, it's another sad boy movie that I'm going to really enjoy. From Ratcatcher to You Were Never Really There, I think she delivers every time something that is not quite what you see every day on the big screen, something deeply personal, both to her and her characters, and I think it'll be a real treat to open the festival with.
Yeah, I'm really excited. There's a lot of buzz about the film. Jennifer Lawrence in particular, she's kind of went away. She's made herself. She's had her first child. There's a famous kind of online segment, what she kind of did when she was off. We'll not talk about that just here, but great to see her back with a bit of buzz. Will she stumble at the Academy Awards next year when she's nominated? If she's nominated, I guess. I don't know. But Nicole, the reason why we're talking about this, we have our little WhatsApp group for both Banterflix and our film festival, and I got the notification through of some of the guests that are going to be attending, and I kind of knew that one in person in particular was going to excite yourself. So tell our viewers who that is and what exactly happened when you got that bit of news.
It's Lucy Liu. She's one of my favourite actresses. So many of her films and TV series I love so much. Charlie's Angels, Full Throttle, Elementary. She does so many different interesting things that I just love. And I may or may not have fallen off my bed whenever I got the message through. I was so excited. So that'll be definitely the first thing that I am going to.
Yeah, I think that's an absolute fab guest. It definitely caught my attention when we got the email through. There's a couple of guests as well. I know Ben Wheatley is going to be here, filmmaker I absolutely adore. Maybe, Nicole, you might get a chance to talk to Lucy Liu. Maybe talk to her about War of the Worlds in Prime, because I know you were such a big fan of that film when we got you on to review it. And, you know, just on that note, of course, we'll all be excited as well that Shauna MacDonald is going to be in Belfast for our very own screening as part of the Belfast International Horror Festival. We're going to be screening The Descent to celebrate its 20th anniversary, which does make me feel old. So yes, Lucy Liu, great Belfast Film Festival, 25th year, but it's also the 5th Belfast International Horror Festival. So yeah, check both those programmes out. Those are events that are up and coming. They're going to be happening here in the city soon. So I think we'll move on and chat about a movie that's in the cinemas.
You know, you are so unsuitable for my daughter. My child comes from a whole line of revolutionaries. And you look so lost. What are you gonna do about this baby?
You know what freedom is? What? No fear. Go!
Not one thing, it's another. Find that to be true.
So that's a look at the trailer for One Battle After Another, latest feature from Paul Thomas Anderson, his biggest budget feature to date. Leonardo DiCaprio, Benicio del Toro, even Regina Hall is in there as well. I did get a bit of stick last week from Joe and Gavin. Joe hosted, of course, and Gavin was one of the guests. They were very disappointed they didn't get a chance to talk about this movie, and they thought maybe I was holding it back until I was back in the studio, and the answer is yes. Yes, I was. That was purely the simple reason. I saw this, love this. I'm letting the cat out of the bag already. I am not huge. I think, without knowing Nicole too much, I know you are a big Paul Thomas Anderson fan, Adam. We will give you an opportunity to talk about the film, and I'm hoping it's going to be positive, but I've let the cat out of the bag for me. I thought this was absolutely fab. 2 hours, 40 minutes, just romp through its runtime. Something very different from Paul Thomas Anderson, and working on a bigger budget with the likes of Leonardo DiCaprio. I want more of that type of thing. Nicole, where you went in, what's your thoughts on the film?
So in general with PTA, I like him, but I don't love him. I think Phantom Thread is incredible, but nothing else that he's done has quite captured that for me. This also doesn't quite capture that magic, but I still loved it. I thought it was fantastic. For 2 hours and 40 minutes, it flew by. And I feel like he is just one of those directors where you can feel his energy behind the camera in the best possible way. There's just so much kind of kinetic energy throughout the entire film. Just sort of the different camera placements, the way that he films everything is just so interesting to watch, and it makes it an experience. So yeah, I really loved it. I actually thought Leo DiCaprio was very good, which is high praise coming from me because he's good, but I don't get the hype. I thought Tiana Taylor in particular was a really, really fantastic, nuanced performance. I kind of never really 100% knew what was going on sort of behind her eyes. Can't forget Sean Penn, as much as I would like to sometimes. The walk alone was just mad. So yeah, in general, I thought this was great. It was one of my favourite films of the year so far.
Yeah, this was a blast. Now, the thing is though, I can understand why people won't like it. my day job at Q Radio, I was there talking to one of the presenters who went to see it in the cinema and absolutely hated it. And I said, look, you're entitled to your opinion, but you're wrong. It is baggy, it is a bit messy, but I love it for that reason. And some of the sequences, like, I never thought I would be given praise to Paul Thomas Anderson for a car chase, but some of those scenes, particularly near the film's end, without going into spoil, are just fab. Like you, I really want to praise Leonardo DiCaprio. Well done, Leo, because it's not an Oscar kind of esque performance, but again, we were talking about Jennifer Lawrence earlier. I could see this. I think will definitely do well. I could imagine next year at the Academy Awards. I think you will see. I think Sean Penn will definitely get a nomination. For me, channeling kind of Robert Kennedy, kind of junior vibes, like steering into politics with the voice, the walk. It's there. Also, Benicio del Toro, given what I love. It's not a kind of just insert, copy, paste, repeat Benicio del Toro performance. He's doing something different. So yeah, I really love this, and I guess so far, Nicole, you're not as you enjoyed it, but you're not as falling over yourself like I am with praise for the film. So, as the fan of the director, the biggest fan, I guess, between the three of us here, Adam, where you went in?
Very much my bread and butter, Jim. As a guy who used to watch Inherent Vice every night before he went to bed for 3 months, this is very much my cup of tea.
And this is loosely based on source material from the same author.
Same author, yes. So like anything like that, I know PTA is a big diehard for Altman and like The Long Goodbye and stuff. That very fits into that box of your Inherent Vices, your Big Lebowski's, of a character that's just been thrust through a story. Benicio, incredible. He
Sensei.
Big laughs, very much reaching back to his Dr. Gonzo days. Cinematography is just beautiful stuff, and Festivision, you know. PTA just, every time he sort of approaches a story from the outside, like Phantom Thread, like you would never think like that would be shot so beautifully because it's such a basic story. But for this, which is such a widespread story and have all of these characters sort of working together, it's a really impressive movie, and it's one of those ones where earlier this year you had like Sinners and Weapons and stuff, and it's like, nothing's ever going to get better than this. And then all of a sudden PTA is like, Adam, look what I got. So yeah, for me, it's fantastic. Leo, you know, does he just shout a lot? Sure, but
he does it well. He does it well.
Jim, I love this drip. The house coat, the glasses. If I was 16 when I used to walk about like the Big Lebowski, if this came out then, I would have been like, I need those wraparounds so I can just walk around in my bath coat all day.
I think we're going to see a few Bobs out and about at Halloween.
Yeah,
definitely. I definitely think. What I loved about it was the simple fact that this is a director clearly going up, because I think to date, I think is previously his biggest budget feature. And I don't want to talk, it's not about kind of all about budgets, but I think that was in around about 40 million previous was what he worked with. And I know Licorice Pizza, because that was the thing I was worried about. Everybody I spoke to before I went to see the film, I stayed away from trailers for it. It's like, you're going to love it, Jim. You're in for a treat. It's going to be fab. Same people said about Licorice Pizza, which I liked, but I didn't love. But the simple fact, within about half an hour of this, I was just kind of like, hang on a minute. This is 2 hours, 40 minutes. We are romping through this at breakneck pace. Where are we going here? I don't know, but just a joy. And it's a director that I always talk about this. When you see them, we mentioned Ben Wheatley coming to Belfast. We saw a few years ago he was doing the Meg 2, big budget feature, and there was none of him coming through. It was like he went through the cogs in the machine, and it was like generic blockbuster. But here you have Paul Thomas Anderson. I'm not cool enough to call him PTA because, you know, Paul, we're on a name basis. But for me, it's the fact that I still see him, his flair, his style, what we're used to as someone who loved him from Magnolia. Inherent Vice was never the big love for me. Punch Drunk Love as well, I absolutely adore. But you still see working on that bigger budget, and I guess working with someone like Leonardo DiCaprio will bring that as well. Also will bring audiences to, because I think it's his most successful at the box office as well. So yeah, on that positive note, I think that's something that's out in the cinema now. We will move on and have a look at something you can watch from the comfort of home.
Hello?
Dude, are you seeing this?
Where are we?
Why is it boarded up? It's unhuman! It's unhuman!
So that's a look at the trailer for VHS Halloween. As we said, it's spooky season. We will probably, I know last year we had our pick of the screams. I think we'll probably do something similar this year throughout October. So we don't often throw a lot of love to Shudder on our streaming platforms. We usually alternate between the biggies. So I thought it was actually, this was your choice, if I remember right, Adam. So VHS, so I think the first of these was 2013, 2012 anthology movie. The first one was around a heist and getting a videotape, and then we saw various tapes. I'm not a big fan of found footage. I don't mind anthology ideas, but I think as someone who's coming back to our festival, we have a short film program, a horror strand within that. I do watch a lot of short films. I have mixed feelings about this film, about this feature anyway. So you picked this. This was your choice. Did you regret it?
In the same way, when I watch every VHS movie, I regret it. It's one of those love-hate, and it's like, because I love anthologies, I love Creepshow, I love, Tales from the Crypt, I love The Twilight Zone. You're like, going in blind, you hope to at least get one or two that makes it worth the watch. VHS is really a mixed bag. Last year, I think most of them were like sci-fi ones. There was a really good short by Kate Siegel, who was able to capture horror in space. I think the best it's been in a long, long time. But with this, it's sort of a bland title, VHS Halloween. You're like, well, it could really be anything. So these shorts could be anything. But when it opens up on a sort of wraparound segment about spooky juice, I was like, oh no, this is going to be bad. And the shorts sort of had those found footage, people running into somewhere and be like, oh, quick, quick, flashing lights, camera movement. It wasn't until the Alex Ross Perry directed Kid Print where I was sort of like, this is what I want from this sort of series. Something that sort of is inherently dark, something you would find on a VHS. It's like VHS is, in horror are so linked to like snuff film. So like that sort of like terror that you're like, I shouldn't be watching this. Whereas the other things sort of feel like you've randomly come across it on the internet. So I like when the directors approach the actual premise of VHS. It's good in what they're meant to do. But the whole movie was sort of just a bit of a slog to get through. It's maybe one short too long. When it said like an hour and 55 minutes, I was like, oh, come on now. For 4 short films, come on now. The short is in the title. But if you want to just watch the Kid Print bit, highly recommend it. But the rest is sort of just your standard people trying random things, but they're mostly just either for gore purposes or for shock value, which can only get you so far when you're trying to tell a story.
I watched this a couple of nights ago, bar a couple of moments. I'm struggling to remember it. And hey, I'm not the biggest fan of the VHS series. I was looking back, I think you might correct me, Adam, I think this is the 8th or 9th entry. I didn't realise there was that many entries. It's like when someone tells me, next year we're going to have Shrek 5, or whenever we're going to have Shrek 5. I know its release was date. It's like, I completely forgot there was a 3rd, let alone a 4th. But yeah, that's me. I'm not a fan of this. Nicole, again, we were talking on and on about at the start our love for spooky season horror movies. Are you a VHS fan? Was this something you were seeking out whenever you heard it was being dropped on Shudder?
No. I'm not a huge anthology person at the best of times. I like some of the older ones. I like Creepshow. For some reason, I like Body Bags as well, the John Carpenter, Tobe Hooper one. The newer ones, ABCs of Death, like all that sort of thing, doesn't really appeal to me. Like both of you, I kind of feel like they rely too much on shock factor. And I think I've only seen a handful of the VHS movies. I also had no idea there was 8, and I'm not sure why there's 8. But this one, I went in hoping that I was going to enjoy it, that I was going to get a bit more out of it than I have the previous ones that I've seen, which I don't remember anything about. I don't really remember very much about this one either, to be honest. I liked a couple of moments. There were a few things that I enjoyed. Some of the practical effects did surprise me in some ways. I enjoyed the third segment. I don't even know which one that is. But the third one anyway, that was my favourite one because it was just a bit campy and silly and just captured my attention a wee bit more. The other ones I just felt like they were trying to get under my skin, but in the complete wrong ways. And it just didn't really have any effect by the end of it. And I just sort of wanted it to be over. So not for me, I'm afraid.
So I'm guessing, I'm going to go out on a limb here. You've maybe seen this. You've seen this, definitely. You watch it for the show. You've maybe seen the first VHS. You're not going to be seeking out those other installments within the series?
I don't think so. Maybe the Kate Siegel one, because I do like her a lot, but I'll steer clear probably.
Okay, Kate, if you're watching, there you go. There's a bit of love thrown your way. So yeah, so that's VHS. It's out on Shudder. We'll have another Pick of the Screams next week. So we'll move on and wrap up this week's show. As always, as we always try to do here, let's champion some physical media with our DVD of the week.
These beasts are a threat to all of our lands.
It's time, Hiccup.
I have to kill you. I will, because I'm a Viking. Hear that? I'm a Viking! It's okay. I won't hurt you.
So that's a look at the trailer for How to Train Your Dragon. No, not that one. The live-action remake shot here in Northern Ireland. At the start of the show, we were championing all the joys of the Belfast industry here with the film festival. Here is a big budget live-action remake we were all asking for. Adam, I heard you shouting from the top of Victoria Square, demanding a live-action remake of How to Train Your Dragon. You've got it. What do you think?
I was actually shouting refund. You know, God bless everybody that worked on it from here. It's good to see everybody get work and, you know, feed the kids, you know. It's good to see. But on the creative side, it's the same director as the animated movies. And it really shows because it's basically the same film again.
But it's 40 minutes longer, Adam.
And a little bit darker. Not for me. You know, it's one of those ones, if you're going to do a live action remake, either make it exceptionally well and have visuals that you couldn't achieve in animation, which is impossible. Look at the Lilo and Stitch remake, and or you know, just go a completely different direction and sort of have a new story. This does neither, and sort of just has the same story and the same visuals. I seen How to Train a Dragon in cinemas in 3D. Like the Lord intended, and was blown away by like the sort of like these new characters and this new sort of idea. Never really liked Hiccup as a character. Always found the voice acting annoying. The new kid that plays him, that is in Black Phone 1 and 2, isn't the best. Thandie Newton's daughter, pretty good. And the rest of them all sort of or a bit cookie cutter. You have the kid from Hunt for the Wilder People. And it just wasn't for me, Jim. I don't know, like, is it going to feed the kids the crave, you know, dinosaur movies when we can't have dinosaur movies, so we have to have dragon movies? Sure. But for a man in his 30s that sort of was forced to watch this, I just sat there being like, oh, Is VHS on again?
Well, I'm not as negative about this as you, because I think on our podcast, the NI Scene, we discussed this. We actually had the lovely Zara Jackson in, who was involved in the project behind the scenes. She was one of the script supervisors on the project, and Zara was really enthusiastic about it, and maybe that rubbed off a bit on me. I loved the original. I think it was 2010. I think the original How to Train Your Dragon was out. As we say, same director. I thought it was good. I mean, it's a story, a narrative that is machine tooled to be crowd pleasing. It's you know, we have all the kind of standard tropes and cliches. We have characters going on journeys of self-discovery. We've got that relationship between father and son. Of course, we have the lovely Toothless as well. It'd be impossible, I think, to dislike Toothless. And this time we get it right. It's bigger, it's louder. I do think some of the dragon sequences, the dragon riding sequences do look fab. Having watched it on the IMAX screen when it was out, I think they do look great. I think it's a testament to the industry here, how far we've come. You know, I think here in Northern Ireland, we know what we're doing with dragons. We've kind of got that. So I get that. It is 40 minutes longer. It is definitely darker than some elements, because I remember at the time when I reviewed it, I said, I think, you know, if you have kids who watch the animated one, some of it might be scary for them. But yet I was speaking to a couple of people who have young kids, fine. So clearly they are made of tougher stuff than I am. I'm in my 40s and I felt myself getting a little bit nervous at times, because it's big, it's loud, it's perfectly fine. It will do what it's designed to do. I know, Adam, you flippantly threw in a little reference to Lilo and Stitch there, the live action remake of that. They clearly make money, and that is the depressing thing. Studio heads know, and I'm pretty certain How to Train Your Dragon 2 has been greenlit. I think it was greenlit just before the first remake was released. I don't know if it's been confirmed, if it's going to be shot here again. I don't know. That could have changed since we last. But I know, Nicole, you're sitting there, you're chomping at the bit. Earlier, we mentioned that Adam specifically requested we talk about VHS Halloween. You messaged me repeatedly going, can we talk about How to Train Your Dragon? When are we going to talk about How to Train Your Dragon? So now's your opportunity.
So I had never seen How to Train Your Dragon, either of them at all. I just missed it completely. And only when you messaged me did I decide, okay, I'll sit down and watch this. So I watched the live action remake first. I wanted to go in completely unencumbered by the original. And I found it really boring. I just thought it was a bit of a slog. Over 2 hours is not necessary for this film. So I was delighted when I found out that the original is just over an hour and a half. This is the sort of remake that, even not having seen the original, I just didn't really understand the point of it. I do completely get what you're saying about it getting younger viewers in the cinema, and I'm always grateful for any film that does that. I just wish that this film had done something, as Adam was saying, even a wee bit different. Just something that is a bit less like Gus Van Sant's Psycho, which is a shot-for-shot remake. I just wanted something that differentiated itself a little bit. This felt very much like beat by beat sort of kids film, which is fine. It is a kids film. I'm not expecting it to do anything above and beyond, but there was something just a bit heartless about it for me. I just didn't get any sort of sense of excitement.
Not even from Nick Frost?
No.
It's ironically a bit toothless.
The joke was in my head and I chose not to do it, but I'm glad that you did.
I always do.
There we go. Adam always delivers on the joke. So yeah, a bit of a damp squib to finish the show on. Yeah, as I say, it's there on DVD. So if you missed it on the big screen, now's your opportunity. I'm sure it will be available on VOD platforms as well to watch at home. And I'm sure on some of those streamers, the animated original will be there as well. So yeah, so that pretty much is us out of time this week. So all that's really left for me to do is thank my guests here in the studio. So thank you very much, Adam.
Thank you, Jim.
Thank you very much, Nicole.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for watching at home. We'll be back next week with another episode. But for now, until then, goodbye.